What if nothing is random? What if every moment, every delay, every heartbreak, every encounter was guiding you somewhere you were always meant to be? And what if this message, finding you right now, is part of that journey? Maybe you clicked on this video without thinking. Maybe the title caught your eye for a reason you cannot explain. Or maybe, deep inside, your soul was searching for something your mind could not put into words. Because sometimes, life whispers before it screams. There comes a moment in every human life when the world begins to feel strange. The things that once excited you no longer do. The people around you no longer understand you, and even when you smile, something inside feels unfinished. You try to ignore it. You distract yourself. You stay busy. But the feeling keeps returning. That feeling is not emptiness. It is awakening. Visual, sunrise over mountains, a person closing their eyes peacefully. Most people spend their lives asleep. Not physically asleep, spiritually asleep. They wake up, repeat routines, chase approval, fear judgment, and call it living. But some souls were never meant to stay asleep forever. Some souls were born to question everything, to feel deeply, to search beyond what the eyes can see. And those souls often suffer the most before they awaken. Maybe your pain changed you. Maybe betrayal forced you to grow. Maybe loneliness introduced you to yourself. Maybe losing everything revealed what truly mattered. The universe has a strange way of breaking people before transforming them. Because diamonds are created under pressure, and souls awaken in darkness. Think about your life carefully. How many moments looked like endings, but became beginnings? How many people left, only to make space for better things? How many painful nights secretly built your strength? At the time, it felt unfair. Now it's you can see the pattern. Nothing was accidental. There are forces in this universe we still cannot fully explain. Energy, intuition, synchronicity. The strange feeling of, I was meant to see this. Science calls some of it coincidence. Spirituality calls it alignment. But almost everyone has experienced it. A song playing exactly when you needed it. A stranger speaking words that healed something inside you. A message arriving during your darkest hour. And sometimes, a video finding you at the exact moment your soul is ready to hear it. You are not brought here to stay small. You are not created only to survive. There is something inside you that refuses to settle. That restlessness, that longing, that deep feeling that your life has a bigger purpose. It exists for a reason. The universe places signs in front of people constantly, but only awakened souls notice them. You are not brought here to stay small. You are not created only to survive. There is something inside you that refuses to settle. That restlessness, that longing, that deep feeling that your life has a bigger purpose. It exists for a reason. The universe places signs in front of people constantly, but only awakened souls notice them. Maybe your spirit has been trying to guide you. Maybe life has been trying to slow you down so you could finally listen. Because when the noise disappears, truth becomes louder. And the truth is this: you are changing, even if nobody else can see it yet. Transformation is painful. Before every new version of yourself is born, the old version must die. That is why awakening feels lonely. You begin losing interest in things that once controlled you. You stop chasing validation. You stop forcing connections. You begin protecting your peace more than your image. And suddenly, people say you have changed. They are right. You have. But this is only the beginning. Because once a soul awakens, it can never return to sleep again. And the deeper you go, the more you realize that life has been speaking to you all along. Through pain, through silence, through timing, through signs, through people, through endings. And now, through this message. If this found you, it's not by accident. There are moments in life that change you forever. Not because they are loud, but because something inside you quietly says, pay attention. Most people ignore those moments. They brush them away as coincidence, bad timing, luck, randomness. But awakened souls feel something deeper. They feel the connection between events, the invisible thread tying every experience together. And when you finally begin seeing the signs, you realize they were always there. Think about your journey, the heartbreak that destroyed you, the friendship that suddenly ended, the opportunity you lost, the nights you cried without knowing why. At the time, it looked like life was against you, but what if life was actually redirecting you? Because sometimes rejection is protection, sometimes delays are preparation, and sometimes losing people is how the universe saves your soul. Human beings want control. We want answers immediately. We want to understand every pain while we are still experiencing it. But wisdom does not arrive during comfort. It arrives later, when you look back and finally understand why certain doors had to close. The truth is, many things you begged for would have destroyed you, and many things you cried over were actually blessings in disguise. Pain changes people. But pain also reveals people. Some become bitter, others become wiser. Some lose themselves in darkness. Others discover their light because of it. And maybe that is why your struggles felt different. Because deep down, your soul knew the pain had a purpose. Everything in the universe moves with rhythm. The tides, the seasons, the stars, even your life has seasons. There are seasons of growth, seasons of loss, seasons of isolation, and seasons where everything suddenly begins making sense. But most people quit during the season of confusion. They do not realize transformation is happening beneath the surface, just like roots grow underground before a tree appears above it. Your spirit has been growing silently. Even during the moments you thought nothing was happening. You have probably noticed it already. You are becoming more sensitive to energy. Crowds exhaust you. Fake conversations drain you. Your intuition has become stronger. You no longer feel comfortable pretending. Because once awareness enters your life, you cannot go back to unconscious living. The modern world rewards distraction. People are taught to stay busy so they never face themselves. Constant noise, constant comparison, constant escape. But silence scares people, because silence reveals truth. And the moment you truly sit alone with yourself, you begin hearing the voice you ignored for years, the voice of your soul. Your soul does not speak through fear. It speaks through feelings, intuition, peace, inner knowing. That strange pull toward something bigger. That is not imagination. It is guidance. Some signs are obvious, others are subtle. Sometimes the universe whispers before it changes your life completely. A repeated message, a dream that feels too real, a random encounter that shifts your perspective forever. And sometimes the sign is simply a feeling you cannot explain, a feeling that you are meant for more. But awakening comes with a cost. You may lose relationships. You may outgrow environments. You may feel alone while everyone else seems comfortable fitting in. Because growth separates you from places that no longer match your energy, and that separation can feel painful. But not everything you lose is meant to be mourned. Some things leave because your spirit has evolved beyond them. Nature understands transformation better than humans do. The caterpillar must dissolve before becoming a butterfly. The snake must shed its skin to continue growing. The phoenix rises only after burning. Transformation has always required letting go. So if your old life feels like it is falling apart, do not panic. Sometimes destruction is the first stage of rebirth. You are not here accidentally. Your experiences were shaping you. Your struggles were strengthening you. Your loneliness was teaching you. And the signs that once seemed meaningless are beginning to connect like pieces of a puzzle, because your soul has been trying to wake you up, not to fear life, but to finally understand it. And maybe this is why you found this message tonight. Not because you were searching for entertainment, but because a deeper part of you was searching for truth. Since the beginning of your life, you felt different. Maybe you could never explain it. Maybe nobody around you understood it. But deep inside, you always felt like you did not completely belong here. Not because you were broken, but because your soul was never designed to follow the crowd. Some people are born to blend in, others are born to awaken, and awakened souls often experience life differently from everyone around them. They think deeply, feel intensely, question everything, while others chase acceptance. They quietly search for meaning. Maybe people called you too emotional, too quiet, too sensitive, too different. But what if your sensitivity was never weakness? What if it was awareness? Because the people who feel the most often understand the most. The world teaches people to disconnect from themselves. Hide emotions, ignore intuition, suppress pain, keep performing. But your soul resisted that programming. That is why normal conversations started feeling empty. That is why fake energy exhausted you. That is why you began craving solitude more than attention. Your spirit was evolving. The strange thing about awakening is that it often begins with isolation. Life slowly removes distractions. Certain friendships disappear. You spend more time alone. And for a while, it feels lonely. But loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. Loneliness is the pain of feeling disconnected. Solitude is the peace of finally connecting with yourself. And somewhere along your journey, your loneliness began transforming into clarity. You started noticing things other people ignored. The energy behind words, the truth hidden behind smiles, the emptiness behind material success. You realized many people are not truly living. They're simply distracting themselves from their emptiness. And once you see that truth, it changes the way you see the entire world. The modern world is full of noise. Everyone is competing for attention. More followers, more money, more validation. But very few people ask the real question. Who am I beneath all of this? Because discovering your true self requires courage. It requires silence, honesty, and the willingness to lose everything false. Awakening is not becoming someone new. It is remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Before fear controlled you, before rejection shaped you, before society convinced you your worth depended on approval. Your real self was always there, hidden underneath survival mode.
And maybe that is why life became uncomfortable. Because your soul could no longer tolerate living a life that was not aligned with your truth. The jobs that drained you, the relationships that limited you, the habits that numbed you. You began outgrowing everything that no longer reflected who you are becoming. Growth always feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. Nature never fears change. Trees let go of leaves every year. The sun disappears every night. The moon constantly changes form. Yet humans panic whenever life begins shifting. But what if change is not punishment? What if change is preparation? Because every ending creates space for a new beginning. The truth is, you were never meant to fit into spaces that shrink your spirit. You were never meant to stay asleep just because others are comfortable sleeping. And maybe your greatest pain came from trying to become acceptable to people who were never capable of understanding your soul. Awakened souls often suffer silently. They carry emotions deeply. They overthink. They love hard. And they feel disconnected in a world obsessed with appearances. But their pain becomes power once they understand it. Because sensitivity is not weakness. Sensitivity is the ability to feel what others ignore. You were not created to copy everyone else's path. Some souls are called towards something deeper. Not fame, not approval, not temporary success, but truth, inner peace, purpose, spiritual freedom. And the closer you move toward your true self, the more your old life begins falling away. That is not failure. That is alignment. There will be moments when nobody understands your journey. Moments when people misunderstand your silence, your distance, your transformation. Let them. Not everyone is meant to understand what your soul is becoming. Some people can only meet you at the level they have met themselves. So stop apologizing for changing. Stop apologizing for protecting your peace. Stop apologizing for choosing yourself. Stop apologizing for evolving. The old version of you survived, but the new version of you is finally awakening. And maybe this message found you today because your soul needed a reminder. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken.